Hi friends, welcome to Sada Learning Hub. You are with me, Shadashirao. Today's session, we are going to learn JSP interview questions. If you see, if you know the technology, definitely we need to know how the interview questions are going on that particular technology. Then only we will go through that interview. For that, these videos I'm going to explain how the interview questions on JSP Java Server pages. See here in these videos I'm going to cover most important Java Server pages interview questions. The first question is, if you see any technology we need to know first what, why, where. That is the most questions. The first question is, what is the JSP? If you see a Java server pages, JSP means a Java server pages. Java server pages is a technology for developing a web pages that supporting a dynamic content which helps the developer inserts the Java code in HTML pages by making the use of a special JSP tags. Most of the which starts with these are the tag. See here. If you see an HTML page, the JSP page likes also an HTML page, but the HTML page as a static content. HTML page is a static content. But if you see on a JSP page, a JSP page is a dynamic content. We can write our Java code, we can write our custom tags, and also JSP supporting some predefined tags. JSP is providing some predefined tags. It has some functionality. It reducing the Java code means it giving the functionality about a dynamic pages. If you use in a HTML page, it is a static page. Whenever you are running HTML page, always it is going in the same output. But if you are seeing a JSP pages, depends on the input, it is going keep on changing the output. That is as a dynamic pages. Finally, Java Server Pages is a technology for developing a web pages that supports a dynamic content which helps the developer to insert the Java code in a HTML page by making the use of special JSP tags. Now, the next question is, you know the JSP, what are the advantages? The second question is, what are the advantages of using a JSP page? Now here, for the interview purpose, I am going to explain the most important advantages. The first one is performance is significantly better because JSP allows embedded dynamic elements in HTML pages itself. If you see in a JSP pages is like an HTML pages. JSP page supports an HTML tags also. That's why performance is significantly better because JSP allows a dynamically elements in a HTML page itself. The second advantage is JSPs are always compiled before it processed by the server. If you see JSP lifecycle, before doing means before deploying or before displaying a JSP page, what it is going to compiled by the servlet container. Means JSPs are always compiled before it is proceeding by the server, unlike CGI or Perl, which requires the servers to load an interpreter to target the script each time the page is requested. But here in JSP, no need. Means whenever you are giving the request for the JSP, automatically it available the compiled page. That's why it's no need to interpreter. And third advantage is Java server pages are built in on top of the Java servlet API. So like servlets, JSP also has an access to a powerful enterprise Java API including JDBC, JNDA, EZP. If you see, Java server pages are built in on top of the Java servlets API. If you see, JSP is nothing but a servlet. Internally, JSP is going to servlet. That's what a Java server pages are built on top of the Java servlet API. The fourth advantage is JSP pages can be used in the combination with the servlet that handles the business logic, the model supported by the Java and servlet template engines. JSP pages can use the combination with the servlets also. It's also possible. We can maintain our business logic in servlet. We can maintain our presentation logic in JSP. That is also one of the most important. Why? Because if you have two developers, one developer is working on the UI and one developer is working on the business logic. In that situation, there is a no dependent in one developer to the another developer. UI developer is focused on the JSP and the business logic developer is focused on the servlet. These are the four major advantages in the JSP. The first one is the performance. The second one is it's already pre-compiled. And third one is it on top of servlets. And the fourth one is we can separate the business logic and the presentation logic. These are the four most advantages of JSP. Now, the next question is what are the advantages of JSP over active server pages? If you see ASP. ASP means active server pages. Where it is comes into the picture active server pages. If you see Microsoft.NET, Microsoft.NET is using the ASP pages, active server pages. What are the advantages of over JSP or active server pages, ASP? See here, I'm explain you two major advantages. The first one is the dynamic part is written in Java, not Visual Basic or other MS specific languages. So it is most powerful and earlier to use. If you see in a ASP page, the code is implemented in Visual Basics or any other Microsoft specific languages. But in the JSP, we can use in any language. You can use Java. You can use any other language. But coming to the second advantage, it is a portable to other operating system and coming to the ASP pages, it is not portable. We can run in any other operating systems. It may be a Linux or it may be a Apple or it may be a Ubuntu or it may be a Windows. But coming to the ASP, it is portable to only Microsoft operating systems, Microsoft Web Services. Sorry, Microsoft Web Servers. We can deploy our JSP pages in any servers, but ASP pages it's possible to only deploy into the Microsoft Web Servers. It's not possible to deploy non-Microsoft Web Servers. That is a big issue in ASP pages. The next question is what are the advantages of JSP over Pure Servlets? Now, just now we have discussed what are the advantages over JSP, what are the advantages of JSP over ASP. Now, this question is what are the advantages of JSP over Pure Servlet? It is a more convenient to write regular HTML than to have a plenty of println statements that generated the HTML. Otherwise, advantages are embedded of Java code in HTML pages. If you see in servlets, we can write your presentation logic in servlets also it's possible. But we need to write so much Java code logic. We need to write so many printlns embedded of Java code in HTML pages. platform independence, and creation of database-driven web applications, and server-side programming capabilities. It is also supports the JSP supports the server-side programming capabilities also supported by the JSP. And also JSP is a platform independent, but it not a pure servlets is not possible. These are the four major advantages of JSP over pure servlets. The next question is, what are the advantages of JSP over server side includes SSI? See here, SSI means server side includes. What are the advantages of JSP over server side includes? SSI means server side includes. SSI is really only intended for simple inclusions, not for real programs that use it from data, make a databases connections, and like that. It's not possible to use the UI and all those things. It is only intended for the simple inclusions, not for real programs that uses the data, make database connections, and like small things. That is used for the server side includes SSI. The next question is, what are the advantages of JSP over JavaScript? If you see JavaScript is also object oriented. JSP is also object oriented. But JSP it is used for writing a UI. But a JavaScript it is a program. It executes some logic behind for the values. JavaScripts can generate the HTML dynamically on the client. If you see JSP, JavaScript is generates the HTML dynamically on the client but can hardly interact with the web servers to perform the complex tasks like database access and image processors, etc. The next question is, what are the advantages of JSP over static HTML? See, starting itself I am saying that what is the JSP? In that question itself I am explained. A regular HTML, of course, it cannot contain the dynamic information. Whenever you are running, it will be show the same screen only, same components only in that particular screen. But coming to the JSP, it depends on the input it is going to change. Whatever you are giving the input, based on that input, it returns the output. That is the dynamic content. Now, these are the advantages over the servlets, over the ASP, over the JSP, over the HTMLs, over the JavaScripts, and over the static HTMLs and all those things SSI. But next question is, now we are knowing about all those things. What are the different advantages of JSP over static HTMLs, over JSPs, sorry, over the ASPs, over JavaScripts, and all those things. You're fine. Next, you need to know what is the life cycle of JSP. Whenever asking the interviewer what is the explain life cycle of JSP, in that situation we need to able to explain what's life cycle of JSP. For that, a JSP life cycle has some steps are there. The first one is compilation. Now, if you see JSP is nothing but a servlet. Whenever you are compiling JSP, internally it is going to convert it into the servlet. Now, in that case, how it is going to compile? What are the stages for compilation? While doing the compiling, what are the different stages are available? When a browser asks for a JSP, the JSP engine first checks to see whether it needs to compile the page. If the page has never been compiled, if the JSP has been modified since it was last compiled, the JSP engine compiles the page. Now, whenever we are in the browser, you are hitting the one JSP page. The first compiler checks is that JSP page is compiled or not. If it is compiled, it returns the successfully JSP. If it is not compiled, it starts doing the compilation. Whenever you are hitting the JSP, first it checks when it is updated. After updation, it checks it is compiled or not. If it is compiled, it returns the page. If it is not compiled, it starts doing the compilation. Now, while doing the compilation, some steps are going to involved. The first one is parsing the JSP. Now it is going to check all the tags are properly closed or not, all tags are properly aligned or not. After that, it turning the JSP into the servlet. Means every JSP is a servlet. That's why the JSP is going to convert it into the servlet. After that, compiling the servlet. How the Java file is going to compiled by the Java compiler? The same like that only. The servlet container is going to compile our servlet. Now, fine. Compilation is going success. After that, what it does? What's the next life cycle? Methods. Initialization. After compilation, when a container loads a JSP, it invokes the JSP init method before servicing any request. Now everything is going fine. Compiled is success. Immediately, it starts doing the initialization process by calling the JSP init method. After that, completion of JSP init method, it start next lifecycle method, that is execution. Whenever a browser requests of a JSP, the page has been loaded and initialized. Means it's completed the compilation, it's completed the initialization. The ASP engine invokes the underscore JSP service method in the JSP. The underscore JSP service method of a JSP is invoked once per the request and it is responsible for generating the response for the request. And this method is also responsible for generating the responses for all 7 of HTTP methods. You know, there is a 7 HTTP methods are available. Get, post, delete, put, like that. Now execution is completed. Before the execution, what it is going? First compilation. After that initialization. Initialization means JSP init method is going to execute. After completion of JSP init method, it is going to execute underscore JSP service method. Now everything is fine. JSP underscore service method is going completed. After that, it is going to start the cleanup process by calling the JSP destroy method. The destruction phase of the JSP lifecycle represents when a JSP is being removed from used by the container. The JSP destroy method in the JSP equivalent of destroy method in the servlet. If you see in the servlet, how the destroy method is going to work. In the same like here also JSP destroy method is going to work for cleaning purpose. These are the 4 steps for the JSP life cycle. Next I am going to explain the question is what is the scriptlet in the JSP and what its syntax. If anyone asking what is the scriptlet, a scriptlet can contain any number of Java language statements. If you see here, a scriptlet contains any number of Java language statements, variables, method declarations, or expressions that are valid in the page scripting language. If you see the syntax is going like this. This is the syntax. A scriptlet contains any number of Java language statements. We can declare our variables, or declare methods, or expressions, or a valid in a page scripting languages, followed by This is the syntax. The next one is, what are the JSP declarations? What is the JSP declaration? A declaration declares one or more variables or methods that you can use in the Java code later in the JSP file. You must declare the variables or methods before you use in a JSP file. See here, in your JSP file, if you want to use a methods or a variables, definitely we need to declare all those things in the JSP declaration tag. See, this is the JSP declaration tag. We need to close with percentage. Whatever the declarations are there, we need to put inside of this declaration tag. The next one is, what is the JSP expressions? If you see, a JSP expression elements contain a scripting language's expressions that evaluated, converted to a string, and inserted where the expression appears in the JSP file. The expression elements can contain any expression that is valid according to the Java language specifications, but you cannot use the semicolon to end up the expression. That is the syntax only. See here, what is the expression first of all? If you want to evaluate anything, we need to put it into the expression. How the Java code you are going to write an expression in the same thing, we need to put it in between this tag. Starts with this tag and ends with this tag. How we are putting expressions into your Java code in the same like this way, we can put the expressions in between these tags. It's going to execute it fine. The next question is, what are the JSP comments? If you see any language, comments are available. In the same thing, JSP also some comments are available. A JSP comments marks text or a statement that the JSP container should ignore. Whatever you are putting in the JSP comments, all comments are ignored by the container. A JSP comments is usually when you want to hide the content out, part of your JSP page. If you see, if you want to hide your content container, from the container for the compilation, we need to put it in the JSP comments. We need to use this tag in between whatever the comment you want, we can put it at here. This is the JSP comment. The next question is, what are the JSP directives? A JSP directives affects the overall structure of a servlet class. It is usually as the following. If you see, this is about the JSP directive. The JSP directive affects the overall structure of the servlet. Next, what are the types of directive tags? There is a three types of directive tags are available. The first one is a page directive. It defines a page dependent attributes such as the scripting languages, error pages, and buffering requirements. And the next one is the page directive is include. It include a file during the translation phase. Whenever it is going translation, that time whatever we are including, that it will be put it into the here. The next one is taglib. It declares a tagged library containing the custom actions using the page. Whenever you are creating custom tags into your page, we need to use the taglib directive. These are the different types of directives: page directive, include directive, and taglib directive. The next and final question of this video is, what are the JSP actions? A JSP actions used constructed in a XML syntax to control the behavior of the servlet engine. You can dynamically insert your files, reuse the Java Bean components, forward the use to another pages to generate the HTML for the Java plugins. If you see, this is the syntax of JSP action tags. If you so many action tags are available, not so many limited action tags. We see forward, include, plugin, plugins, params. These are all a JSP action tags. Whenever we are putting these tags, it executes as a predefined functionality. It is going to execute the some actions for that.
Thank you so much watching this video. Hope this lesson helpful to you. Keep watching our lessons. Keep writing to us. Do not forget subscribe our channel Learning Hub because we have many sessions that would help you to develop our skills, and I will be back soon. Till then you take care. Bye bye.